That's a mezzo?
Mezzo.
Pineyneck. I don't know Pineyneck.
Now, Pineyneck normally is, we consider motley well drained. This is an ABLS landscape.
Yeah.
And that is an outlet.
Bright, loamy soils.
Bright, loamy soil.
That's a hydric soil indicator.
If it's not
Special
Pineyneck, then it would be deeper to the water.
It's influenced by the tidal influences. Right? So it has to be a certain distance away from the tidal bay.
Well, this is probably sewage well drained. I can't see
You can't
models
see
that
it.
mug. Can you describe the model of it?
It doesn't quite meet any of the existing. It wouldn't be hydric.
But very
Well drained.
common to see these.
So
They found some nice dry land right next to the Delaware to
you're
put their
saying
camps.
they describe the buried at 78 centimeters, but you think you saw it at 20.
So as you guys were digging that, what was the last artifact you thought you saw?
25% clay.
I think we have it marked as
And
Not
29%
before
clay.
today.
That's part of the
Before
old-
today?
As you were digging today,
Yeah.
where do you think it ended?
well, it's the same hole we dug last.
Oh, that's the same.
Yeah, so
hole.
it's all, it's a
Or
jump
see
hole.
one
right there. This
Yeah.
part.
So I think we have them ending at 26 centimeters.
26.
6 centimeters.
Yeah. Just feeling it. I didn't see artifacts.
That's where the change.
This is definitely his artifacts. I didn't see it. You could.
I mean, it's that.
Yeah, so you have
For
the
filming.
anthropogenic upper
Yeah. You think that's
the actual material which you may
See
call
the sharp abrupt boundaries between
Yeah.
the colors, like the
Yeah.
mixing
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
the
Okay.
material.
Okay.
And then it was what, 50 to like 80?
49 to 78.
Was that brown streak, was that oriented like a Crotabinian? Was that an old worm channel or something maybe, or no? Was that vertical?
We're thinking it's transport
Oh, okay.
material.
Yeah, it doesn't
it's
look
lo-
cylindrical there.
Oh, I
It's
see.
locally sourced,
Yeah.
but it's
Maybe break that open to see if there's any sort of
this
cylindrical.
came out this direction.
Oh, there's a tubular pore right there. We're gonna find out right here. There's one.
Yeah,
Pore goes down.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yuri.
yeah.
That's a good one.
And it,
Yeah.
like that was, I pulled that right out of that hole.
Nice root channel.
Yeah, really nice root channel.
Yep, their root channel.
It's all of it root channels.
This would have been an easier one to dig with the backhoe. We should have.
Would have liked that, yeah.
I'm gonna have a tough time filling that hole.
Next to the founder statue.
I have a picture of it.
Well, at least it's getting roots. That would be perfect.
Right. And it won't be, believe me, because I'm going to end up shoveling half of that soil back in. Level it off and moving on.
Do we know when this park was built?
Established in 1643,
The site.
but the historical park was
20s?
established in 1938.
Probably 30s, yeah. Most recent construction.
Very, very like within the past. Yeah, they just redid just about every structure here, so I don't know. I mean, we're right in the middle of the open part. I don't know if they were moving earth right where we're digging, but everywhere else they were.
What year was that?
Years ago, when we were here last time.
Based on the things we talked about as far as the classifications and stuff like that with artifacts, it makes me think I want to reclassify this. Because I think I have it classified as a Portifactar.
Yeah,
It does not hit 10% in any of the horizons. So would that mean that it gets pushed to that Housey artifactic corridor part?
Posse artifactic.
Isn't that 15% or less?
Hang on. Posse artifactic still needs like 10 or 15% by volume.
Okay, so that's the minimum.
That's
oh,
like
it's a
the-
minimum range, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
So
then
you
it
wouldn't
hit
catch
that.
either one of those on this. This is clean filled.
So, okay, so we just ignore the artifacts even though they're here, and we
Yeah,
just
this would
denote
be
them in.
into like the material classes. This would fall into those like the small.
Ah, that's okay.
So that's just your clean filled. So you make it down to the 4 kilohertz.
Yep. Okay, so this will be spolen.
Family material.
That's right.
Is there a minimum percentage of artifacts before it doesn't classify as an art?
No, there's no artifact requirement or minimum requirement for the Artesols award. It's based on transport materials. Based on, and the idea is that there's lasting chemical or geochemical changes, physical properties take time to.
That might be hard to prove with the
What's
absence of artifacts.
What
It's
is
been transported. Well, you can look at and how far. Well, yeah, I have. So yeah, I'm working behind the scenes.
That there instead.
So we have.
But yes, sometimes it's tough.
Yeah.
We have the suborder level of the factoids, and that doesn't make it. And then, because that's what minimum 35%.
In the 12th edition.
Factart in the 12th edition.
12th edition artifactual
Yeah.
horizons. Yeah, it's like 35% by volume. So that's like essentially like a loamy skeletal
Yeah.
soil, but it's artifacts.
Yeah. And then moving down the line to the suborder, it doesn't reach that 15% to even hit any of those.
You can get permission to
So
dig over
it's
there.
relegated to the family material class or.
Well, they're kind of
symbolic,
two
like you
different
said.
things.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at the Artesols order, if you go to the artifactic diagnostic,
Yeah.
I think that's different than the family material class. So you should look at that. So in order for the order, I'll just go through the order.
Yeah.
Key first. Soils formed by human altered or human transported materials that have one or more defined unit. So first of all, you have to have HA or HT, HAHT materials. What we call HAHT soils. It's just human altered or human transported materials. Those are defined in the 12th edition. So definition is basically 50 centimeters or more of those are transported outside of the pedon. That's important. The single
Outside.
pedon unit. So that's not a big threshold to exceed. If it goes back into the same pedon, exactly the same place where it came from, then it's human altered materials. So in an urban area, it doesn't really exist, except you think maybe like a grave site, potentially, but even that's
Right.
iffy.
Yeah.
We're really talking about like deep ripping of like dirt pans in the west and stuff like that, breaking off cemented layers. So that was kind of the intention of human altered materials. It used to be aeraric before all this stuff existed, and it was really set up for the San Joaquin series and the San Joaquin Valley. I think that's where.
It happens with a lot of classifications that you had the series first and then you had to squeeze it into the cubby holes that you had.
Yeah. So you can kind of think of human altered materials are altered or changed in place. They haven't really been moved around. Transported materials outside of a 1 meter by 1 meter cubic area, which is very small.
Yeah.
So probably not mappable in an urban area. So
I just
really
looked-
focusing on the transported materials.
I just looked up the construction. So it started 2018. They finished up 2019. Some work done in 2020, and construction did include grading horizon.
Rating of it.
Okay.
Huh.
Artesols are an artifactic horizon or a continuous, very slowly permeable or impermeable manufactured layer starting within 200 centimeters. That's would be like concrete, like some sort of continuous concrete layer. or human altered materials produced by excavation and replacement that extends to a depth of 50 centimeters or more, that's intended as a gravesite. Just from hearing these things over time. Human transported materials that either extend to a depth of 30 centimeters or more and contain sulfuric horizons. Sulfitic materials or dense at contact. Well,
Yeah.
you're responsible for, or your
Sulfitic.
suggestion actually was, I think, what led to that. In case they had acid sulfate soils near surface. It was good.
Is that dredge
Good addition.
material out of brackish water? Dredge
Yeah.
material?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the reasoning behind that. If you had that close to the surface, you want to include it.
Almost all the way up and down the east coast, all these major cities are built where navigation ended. They dredged out the channels, which a lot of times they had sulfitic materials. They put in boat landing areas, docks, dry docks, whatever. They dredged the marshes, and they spread it on the land.
3/4 of Boston is 40 feet thick of dredge material.
Then the last kind of the catch-all for Artesols is human transported materials 50 centimeters or more thick. And that's normally the one that's going to capture most of the Artesols or whatever we're using now. Artifactic horizon or 50 centimeters. Normal.
So this was mapped as made land also, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that concrete right there?
I was wondering if that's another piece of porcelain.
Oh, I thought you were talking about porcelain.
Yeah, let me take that out.
It's
the
MA
red.
major.
Oh, the concrete's probably, that one, you think that off brick.
Karen said it
Look like
was
artifacts.
things were
Those
mapped
are
with.
probably pieces of brick, yeah.
This looks like either asphalt.
Rebuilding.
Construction, yeah, a couple of last 2 years ago.
It's,
So what you said.
felt like.
Yep.
Oh, you know what, that might be charcoal.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
No, it's too gray to be charcoal.
Killing your light here.
This feels like an oyster.
We have oyster shells in the next pit, actually.
Got a lot of everything.
So we think that the upper
Pretty sure
40
that's
centimeters
oyster.
is brought in.
The upper 70.
78.
Look at the structure.
Is that possible?
No, just look at the structure. Moderate, medium, subangular block construction.
Granular, yeah, it goes granular to weak subangular block lead to moderate subangular block.
No?
Moderate.
So you got modern piece
Tile
of subangular
porcelain?
block.
It's got a nice design.
Yeah, well, China.
This might be a plate.
Plate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just got a curve on it.
Uh-oh, that's a cultural
Oh, cool.
artifact. Well, we'll put it back.
Just like the other one you had.
Look at that.
Probably part of the
We'll-
same
we'll
plate.
put it on.
You had a really good discussion. I want you to finish it before I ask a question that's going to take us on a tangent.
Okay,
So,
let me
Yeah.
run through the artifactic
Okay, good.
horizon
That's what I was
criteria
down.
first.
being
Then we'll,
patient,
then we'll go down the next rabbit hole.
and I want you to hear
Okay,
it.
Okay, okay.
artifactic horizons, the criteria is changing from what's in 12th edition to a 35% or more by volume artifacts in a layer 15 centimeters or thick, so that's only 6 inches, within 150 centimeters of the surface, or 20% or more by volume artifacts a layer 15 centimeters or thick within a meter, or 10% or more by volume in a layer 15% or more thick within 30 centimeters. The reason is
Right.
closer to the surface, higher hazard because
Yeah.
it's your closer contact to it, so you have a lower threshold.
Sure.
So that's the idea. The deeper it is, you got to have more before we care.
Right. And
And then, the last one is 10% or more artifacts between 10% by weighted average volume between 25 and 100 centimeters to a manufactured cemented or indurated roof limiting layer that's shallower than 100 centimeters.
Okay. And that's artifactic horizon.
So it's 35% or more in a single layer within 150, 20% within a meter, 10% if it's in 10% by volume.
It doesn't satisfy any of that, so we don't have an artifactic.
It does not satisfy any of what you just
I
said.
think we described like 4% or
Yeah.
2% or something like that, without looking at the description. that gets kicked out of that. Doesn't even meet it anywhere.
Then we got to deal with the epipetons.
Yeah.
Because
That's separate ones I was.
yeah, the anthropic epipeton is kind of a.
You need to have chemistry data.
Not anymore. They got rid of the phosphorus requirement.
Oh, okay, we can do it now. Good, they did the right thing there. John, kudos.
Yeah, they moved that to a different epipeton.
And is that with other soil orders, not Artesols? The anthropic?
Anthropic is
Yeah,
totally independent. The epipeton is the epipeton.
But you can use it, so you can use it in.
Any epipeton
any
that
order.
meets their classification and the criteria. I mean, obviously you wouldn't have a molic epipeton in an Artesol, but you know, things like that. But yeah.
Okay.
You can also have, you know, this is probably going to cause controversy, multiple epipetons. That is also possible.
Multiple?
According to John Galbraith, you can have more than one epipeton.
Oh boy.
And could you have a classic Oak Creek epipeton with
Anthropic?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Technically, it could be both. So anthropic epipeton is now, there's a lot of crossouts in here, in
Yeah.
red letters.
Yeah.
Soil structure in 50% or more of the volume and formed in HAH2 on or above an anthropogenic landform or on an excavated and reclaimed surface shape to mimic the original contour. Artifacts other than agricultural methods, so that's subject one. That's the thing I have a problem with. I don't know why artifacts matter.
Yeah, I remember that note.
And one or more of the following: less than 0.6 organic carbon, moist color of 4 or more, and chroma of 4 or more.
Wow,
So it's got to be light colored,
light color.
low, light color, low OC. And that's new. That wasn't in.
That wasn't in the previous.
So this would make it
Did that have even more color in OC? Or is it both? The reason why they have the colors is because there's a competing epipeton called Friedrich for the dark,
Right.
anthropogenic, high organic carbon.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do have a couple of dark
Yeah.
anthropos. Okay.
And it's tough because we're